The chapter begins with an introduction to the world where gates have appeared around the globe. These gates lead to dungeons filled with monsters and treasures. Hunters, those who enter the dungeons and fight the monsters, are divided into ranks based on their abilities. We are then introduced to the protagonist, Sung Jin-woo, who is an E-rank hunter. He is depicted as weak and struggling to make ends meet, barely earning enough money from his hunting jobs to pay for his mother's medical bills. Sung Jin-woo receives a job from the Hunters Association to explore a dungeon that has appeared in Seoul. He joins a team of other hunters, but soon finds that they are all killed by the powerful monsters inside the dungeon. Sung Jin-woo barely manages to escape and is left alone to face the dangers of the dungeon. As he explores the dungeon, he discovers a mysterious portal and enters it. He is transported to a secret room where he is granted the ability to level up like a game character. Sung Jin-woo waking up from his level-up experience, unsure if it was real or just a dream. He quickly realizes that his body feels different and his senses are heightened. He also notices a screen in his vision that shows his level, health, and other stats. Sung Jin-woo decides to test out his newfound strength and enters the dungeon alone. He effortlessly defeats the monsters that gave him trouble before and gains a significant amount of experience points, leveling up multiple times in the process. As he continues through the dungeon, he encounters a powerful ogre that nearly kills him. However, he manages to defeat the ogre with a combination of his new abilities and quick thinking. He then discovers a second dungeon hidden behind a portal that was guarded by the ogre. Sung Jin-woo enters the second dungeon and finds himself in a much more dangerous environment than the first. He encounters several powerful monsters, but manages to defeat them all, gaining even more experience points and leveling up again. Sung Jin-woo receiving a call from the Hunters Association, inviting him to join a raid on a C-rank dungeon. He agrees to join the raid and arrives at the location, where he is introduced to the other hunters in the raid group. The raid begins, and Sung Jin-woo easily dispatches the monsters inside the dungeon. However, he notices that the other hunters in the group are struggling and not working well together. The raid ends in failure, with many of the hunters injured or killed. Sung Jin-woo is approached by the leader of a guild called the Hunters Guild, who offers him a spot in their guild. He declines the offer but notices that the guild seems to be in turmoil, with members arguing and bickering among themselves. Later, Sung Jin-woo meets with his friend, Cha Hai-in, who is a member of the guild Hunters Guild. She asks him why he declined their offer and tries to convince him to join the guild. Sung Jin-woo tells her that he prefers to work alone and that he doesn't want to be tied down by a guild. Sung Jin-woo taking on a new quest from the Hunters Association to clear out a D-rank dungeon. He enters the dungeon alone and quickly dispatches the monsters inside, but he is surprised to find a group of people in the dungeon as well. The group of people turns out to be a party of Japanese hunters who are also on a quest to clear out the dungeon. They recognize Sung Jin-woo's strength and ask him to join their party. Sung Jin-woo initially declines but agrees to join them after they offer to split the rewards evenly. As they continue through the dungeon, they encounter a powerful monster that nearly kills one of the party members. Sung Jin-woo manages to defeat the monster, but is severely injured in the process. The Japanese hunters are impressed by Sung Jin-woo's strength and ask him to join their guild, the Antares Guild. Sung Jin-woo declines their offer, but he is given a card with the guild's symbol on it, which he pockets. After completing the quest and returning to the real world, Sung Jin-woo meets with the Hunters Association to collect his reward. He is surprised to find that the reward is much lower than he expected, as the Japanese hunters had taken a portion of it. Sung Jin-woo is approached by a man named Yoo Jin-ho, who asks him to join his company as a bodyguard. Sung Jin-woo declines, but is given a business card with Yoo Jin-ho's information on it. Sung Jin-woo receiving a new quest from the Hunters Association to clear out a low-rank gate that has appeared in the city. He is initially reluctant to take on such a low-level quest, but he decides to accept it after realizing that he needs to earn more money to pay for his mother's medical bills. Sung Jin-woo enters the gate alone and is surprised to find that it is much larger than he anticipated. He encounters several low-level monsters, but dispatches them quickly. However, he soon realizes that the gate is much more dangerous than he thought, as he encounters a group of goblins that are much stronger than the other monsters he has faced. Sung Jin-woo manages to defeat the goblins but is injured in the process. He is forced to retreat from the gate and rest for several days to recover from his injuries. While recovering, Sung Jin-woo receives a call from Yoo Jin-ho, who asks him to come to his office for a job. Sung Jin-woo agrees to meet with Yoo Jin-ho and is surprised to find that he has been offered a job as a double dungeon clearer. Yoo Jin-ho explains that a double dungeon has appeared in the city, and he wants Sung Jin-woo to clear it out. Sung Jin-woo initially declines the offer, but he is given a large sum of money as an advance payment, which he needs to pay for his mother's medical bills. With Sung Jin-woo meeting with Yoo Jin-ho to discuss the double dungeon quest. Yoo Jin-ho tells him that the double dungeon is a rare occurrence that happens when two gates appear in close proximity to each other. He also reveals that Sung Jin-woo's sister, who was presumed dead after disappearing in a gate several years ago, was actually found in the double dungeon. Sung Jin-woo agrees to take on the quest and enters the double dungeon with a team of hunters. The dungeon is much larger and more dangerous than any he has faced before, and the team is quickly separated and attacked by the monsters inside. Sung Jin-woo manages to reunite with the other hunters and leads them deeper into the dungeon. They encounter a powerful boss monster that they are unable to defeat, and many of the hunters are injured or killed in the battle. Sung Jin-woo uses his new abilities to level up and becomes much stronger, allowing him to defeat the boss monster and clear the dungeon. He finds his sister, who is alive and well, and they are reunited for the first time in years.